I broke through the line, gave him a shake like that, planted my foot to cut. Well, I shook him right out of his shoes because he fell on his knees, and he fell right on the arch of my foot, sprained the arch of my foot. So the rest of the season, they gave me a shot in the arch of my foot so I could play. And I never did sit down. I always had to, that's the reason people thought I was nervous, but I was always pacing just to keep the foot warm, because when it cooled off, I was done. It was over. I couldn't keep going. So that's the things that you did to play. And we did it because we wanted to play. It's not that we had to, but it was something that we wanted to do. I played with some real characters, and I guess I'm of the old school. I'm one of the last, or the last of the fewer. We're becoming fewer and fewer of the guys who played for George Halas. And there's a man who started the game. It hadn't been for Halas, I don't think pro football would be where it is today, because he had the insight of doing things and the love of the game that he made it go. But he was a character. He had little rules and stuff like that. He came in one day right before practice, and Herman Lee was one of the tackles. He said, Herman Lee says, I'll give you $100 if you can sing the Bears fight song. You've never seen so many guys grabbing for programs trying to sing and learn the fight song. Well, he did one thing. We all learned the fight song, just because of the little thing that he did. He had little things. Back then we didn't have Gatorade. We had little ice and stuff like that. And we'd have, get a Coke after the game. Well, we went to Norfolk, Virginia, and it was hot and humid. In fact, they had a power outage, so it was delayed the game. They had just fans and stuff in the locker room. So we were delayed going out there, and we were playing the Washington Redskins. So we went out, they scored 20 points on us. We come in at halftime, hot in there, the coaches go and do their, make their adjustments and stuff like that. Well, while they were doing that, Doug Atkins, tired, thirsty, he went over and got a can of Coke and popped it open and was drinking it. Officials come in, says, got 5 minutes left. Coaches come out, and Halas sees Doug drinking that Coke. He says, Doug, we don't drink Cokes at halftime. Doug says, Coach, it's hot. I'm thirsty. I'm going to drink my Coke. And so they fiddle-faddle there a couple times. Then finally, Coach reached over and tried to take it away from him. So they're sitting there doing this with that Coke. Finally, one of the coaches says, Coach, we got to go. He turns and says, go get those bastards. Walked out. We scored 26 points, beating 26-20. Headlines the next day. Halas halftime speech spurs Bears to victory.